Welcome to Sam and Ash, the news standard for personal injury law.
What is up? What is up? What is up? How we doing? Raider roll call on a Friday, man. No one's more fired up than I am. We're ready to roll. Chris Maathuis from 8 News Now. Andy Gresh from the Patriots radio side. My conversation with Pete Carroll. Plus, Pete Carroll's going to be talking here momentarily. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. What else? I got a new Led Zeppelin concert shirt my wife ordered for me. I love that. Yes. Who's new? Who's our new subscribers, man? Who's new? So that's it? Is that it, Bobby? Okay, we'll probably get to that at some point. Modelo Friday. I haven't had a Modelo in 3 weeks. I feel like my buddy Bobby always tells everybody how long he hasn't had a cocktail before he goes out and has a cocktail. All right, Raiders have to win this game, man. Have to win this game. Pete Carroll is speaking now, so we'll get to that live. We'll get to that live in about 5-10 minutes, and then we'll play my interview at 1 o'clock with Pete Carroll. Now, Jason, when I hit that, I don't know why the 2 people thing doesn't come up. I'm hitting this 2 people thing, and it just doesn't come up. No, not when I do this. Am I in it? Well, that's the way I want to draw the picture. I know. Yep. Man, got to win this game. It's not a must-win. Don't give me any must-win BS. It's not a must-win. But, yeah, put that up anyway just to see what it looks like. But, yeah, that's it. You figured it out. That's it. Chris Maathuis. That's all you need, man. Now put it back. How do we put it back? There you go, man. My son, man. My whiz kid. My whiz kid. My young son. My older son who built this is in Norman, Oklahoma for Oklahoma, Michigan. How about that? And Bobby, a little, Bobby, are you listening? A little Led Zeppelin today, a little Oasis, please. Okay.
Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLD Las Vegas.
This is Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to JT the Brick on Raider Nation Radio.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
If you're in the relentless pursuit of finding the competitive edge in everything you're doing, you got to be on.
100%. I expect to win every time I come on the field. I don't care what we're doing. You know what I mean? It's every drill, everything we do. I'm expecting to win.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
This is going to be a battle. This is going to be physical. This is going to be old school football.
Yes, sir. As a great man once said, just win, baby.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT in Vegas. A lot of my friends are in New England. They're in Providence. They're in Boston. Raiders corporate trip is there. Raiders are flying out pretty much now. Pete Carroll is speaking right now. I will bring that to you a little bit on delay. I want to get the monologue in here with a Modelo Friday. Modelo. A bucket of Modelo awaits me every Friday, and it's ready to go. Modelo, proud partner of our show. Raiders are taking off. I like that. Get out to New England, set the body clock. Get out there and get ready to go. Christian Gonzalez, second team All-Pro, not playing at cornerback. Oh, boy, let's go. Christian Gonzalez isn't playing. He is better than all of our corners. Sorry, he is. He's not playing, which is good. And then you got Drake May, who's just a little new kid on the block. You don't want to lose to Drake May in year 1, 2, or 3. Go beat him because he might turn out to be Dan Marino. He might turn out to be Elway. Let's get him now. Welcome into the show, everybody. I'm ready to go. We spent the whole summer counting down the top and most influential Raider draft picks of all time. That was Jim Otto at number 1. Thanks to everybody who participated in that. I did the play-by-play with the preseason with Eric Allen and Matt Millen. That has gone goodbye. And now on Friday, what we do is Raiders roll call. Raiders roll call on Friday is, I need to know where everybody is. That's it. That's the show. I want to hear from fans. Everyone who's live on YouTube. We got a big crowd in there right now. You could watch the show. My wife got me this Led Zeppelin concert t-shirt. Really cool today. She came back. She had a whole bunch of concert t-shirts. Bobby, I'm going through this phase in my life now where I'm wearing concert t-shirts from the 70s or 80s. It's a lot cheaper than buying cars and watches. I got buddies of mine who buy $30,000, $40,000 watches. I like a cheap concert shirt. You have the real ones, Bobby. You have the actual real ones that you kept in great care from the 70s and 80s. I got my youngest son here. He's been great helping me get through the start of the year. We got brand new partners who have signed up and joined us, and our existing partners who came back. Thank you very much to all of our partners who not only help with the advertising of the show, they actually watch and listen. And we'll thank them all as we always do, and especially on Friday. I want to recap Jalen Carter, a guy we should have drafted, but he spit at Dak Prescott. That was a hell of a game last night, man. That was the definition of staying up late on the East Coast and playing in outdoor games with the lightning storm. Those fans are dedicated. The fans who sat through that, those dirty, stinking, green, drunk Bird fans, that was a good game. Dallas should have won. CeeDee Lamb dropped 2 balls in his hands. He catches the last one, they win the game. They win the game. They don't keep the game close, they win the game. And Dallas blew a golden opportunity there. But back to Raider roll call. So everybody in the chat on YouTube, everybody on X watching on Twitter, tell me where you are. We want to have Raider fans globally participating today on the phones and on social media. So when you call in and Bobby puts you on the radio, we need to know where you're from. South Dakota, Fort Lauderdale, Camden, New Jersey, Oakland, California, wherever you are, let's go. It's an on-air radio tailgate party on a Friday to kind of get your mojo going for the game. Next week we'll do it, but we don't play till Monday night. So we get that extra day. Chargers are playing tonight as another money grab by the NFL, another streaming money grab. If you have YouTube, you'll be able to watch it. If you don't have YouTube, you will not be able to watch the game. That is an NFL streaming money grab to get you to subscribe to everything. So I have a budget in life, not much. I really, my wife has a budget, I hope. I don't have much of one. And, you know, they don't want you to have a budget to consume any of this stuff. They don't want you to have a budget. You have a budget for your car payment, your insurance, right? Whatever you pay for your mortgage, your rent. But the NFL saying, no, 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 no. We want your YouTube money. We need your Amazon money. We need your Peacock money. We need your Red Zone money. We need your Sunday ticket money. And we want all your money. And you're like, what are you talking about? I just want to watch football. No, this is it's like a land grab. They want all of it. That's why they're down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, playing a game which no one cares about in Brazil. And I kind of like the expansion of the NFL globally. I do. I like the expansion of it globally. There's some places I would go or not go. I expect the Raiders to be on the road, wink, wink, next year. On the road internationally next year. That'll be pretty cool. I hope it's Berlin. I've never been to Berlin, and I'd like to go there with the Raiders. So with all that happening today, it is Friday, Modelo Friday, and it's an NFL roll call. So let us know. Represent your state. Represent your city. Represent your booster club. And I could do a 6-hour show just taking calls from Raider booster clubs. Mark Jones will check in from New England, the head of the Black Hole. He'll tell us what the atmosphere is like and all the parties and what's going to go on there as we get going here out of the gate. And we have a lot more to get to. So we're going to get to all that. The number is 702-365-9200. You better use my phones, man, because I use them and I look to get good people here. And the future of sports radio, they're going to take your phone away. I've been doing this 30 years. They are trying to take your phone away in sports radio. They're trying to say, well, we don't care about you. I watched today, Bobby. I watched 2 or 3 new cable sports shows on cable sports where 8 or 9 guys were on that you've never heard of in your life, barely put a razor to they're on TV. They're just T-shirts hanging over. Like everybody gets a microphone. Everybody gets a microphone. Who is the godfather of sports radio program directors who said everybody's allowed to be on a radio show without trying to earn being on a radio show? I saw that today, and I turned on my TV, and I'm like, this is getting crazy. Normally, it's just me, mano y mano, but I'd like to hear from you on all this. So here's what I think. Let me go first, and we'll go to Pete Carroll. If we get a couple of calls, great. Here's what's at stake. This isn't a must-win, but it's as close to a must-win as I've seen around here in a while. Okay? Last year, we were in a must-win situation once. Andy Dalton came to Allegiant Stadium, the Red Rifle, the Red Rocket, because Carolina did not want to play Bryce Young. He wasn't good enough. So they gave us Andy Dalton. They gave him to us at home, and we collapsed. We got destroyed, and the season went down the toilet. We would have been 3-1. 3-1. So there's two sides to that coin. If we would have won that game, at a minimum, Antonio Pierce would have went 7 and, probably 7-10. Probably still would have been let go with that record, but he could have won 8 games. And then after we lost to the Red Rocket, everything kind of just fell apart. We lost 10 in a row. 10 in a row. Are you kidding me? We just hit the wall because Carolina came into our house, beat us badly, and then after that, the wheels came off. Now, they came off slowly, but after the 8th or 9th loss in a row, the wheels were off. This isn't of that magnitude, but we're playing a 4-win team that's got an offensive line injury, and Christian Gonzalez isn't playing. We're playing with no weather. We're a West Coast team that plays in the desert in a dome. We're going into New England. Remember the Tuck Bowl, the Tuck rule, snowing sideways? We don't have a weather issue to deal with. We know we have a better coach. They have a good coach in Mike Vrabel. He's not Pete Carroll. And we should win this game. We should win this game. We, the Raider Nation. Now you got to go win the game. So what I think the Raiders need to do to go win the ball game is they're going to try to establish the run. We know that we got to get Ashton Genty going. So we can't have Ashton Genty running into a wall of his own backsides of the butts of his own players. You got that? That means like last year when Zamir White got the ball, I despise setting a running back 7 yards deep. Every time you see a running back 7 yards deep, just say JT the Brick. You'll say it 1,000,000 times. Ashton Genty, be about 5 yards deep. Give him the ball, and let him run to either Colton Miller's side or DJ Glaze's side. I don't think you're going to run him up the middle and be super successful with Jordan Meredith and Dylan Parham. You might, but I'd go behind Colton Miller or I'd go behind DJ Glaze, and I'd have Jackson Powers-Johnson pulling. Because Jackson Powers-Johnson, if I was him, I'd be pretty pissed off. He said he was going to be the center. He never had a chance. He wasn't going to be the center. He had to compete for right guard. If that guy doesn't come into this game, I would not want to be up against Jackson Powers-Johnson in this game, because who's ever against him is going to be saying, why is that young gun so upset and pissed off? Well, he didn't know he had a job until 2 weeks ago. He didn't know he had a job. So now he knows. He knew he's going to be a starter or a backup. We got to move some bodies. That's number one. I want to see a push. I'm not worried about pass protection. If Gino gets sacked, if there's a bad play, it's part of football. I want to see the push, as Rich Gannon told me in the preseason. I want to see the attacking push to move the pile. That's number one. Okay, number two, very important here. I want to see our cornerbacks play really conservative. We don't got no Willie Brown, and we don't have Mike Haynes on this team. So let those young kids play back. I don't need no bump and run week one. If it happens, it happens. That's Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham's decision. You want to give these guys 5 or 6 yards off the line of scrimmage? Amen, brother. Because these corners, they're about as inexperienced as you could be going into a football game. But Coach likes him a lot, which means I like him. Coach likes him, I like him. Give him room. We're not going to settle for any of these head fakes. It's called stop and go. Write that down unless you're driving. We cannot fall to a stop and go where a receiver puts his head down for 6 yards, stops, and then goes, and our young corners are like, goodbye, we better have a safety getting that guy. Play conservative with the corners. I don't need no hero ball. I don't need no hero ball in this game. I need to win the kicking game. Carlson and A.J. Cole have to be great to win this game. A.J. Cole's got to put it inside the 5 and the 10. It's got to bounce and go out of bounds, coffin corner. Nothing in there. Don't give everybody a start. I tweeted it out on X at JT the Brick. I tweeted it out. Mike Vrabel did a TV show yesterday, and they did special teams. And Mike Vrabel gave us a clue. He goes, we got 2 running backs taking back our kickoffs, and their job is to be game breakers. So they treat it like everybody does. When you watch the kickoffs with the Patriots, they're going to block. They're blocking like it's an offensive line with a running back. They just want to have one win on the offensive line to get their back to go. Watch out for that. Be careful. We got to be careful on special teams. And then finally, 2 more things. Please get Brock his targets. Please just give him his 10 to 12 targets. That's my number. I don't care if he's double teamed. I don't care. I'd like to see the ball go to Brock Bowers, please. At the expense of everybody else, yes. I want Brock to get what he deserves because he's the best tight end in football, a heavy dose of coverage. And then finally, something I'm really cool with is Geno. I'm cool with Geno. I think Geno in this atmosphere has played much bigger games than this, much bigger, and he's won them. So I'm pretty confident that Geno can go in there and win the game. That's how I see the game. Raiders roll call. Where are you calling in from? Where are you? 702-365-9200 as we open up the show. And we'll get to Pete Carroll coming up here momentarily. Pete Carroll will jump in, and we'll talk there. We'll hear what he has to say. We're going to get a double dose of Pete Carroll today. My conversation with him at the top of the hour. We'll play that every Friday at the top of the hour. And then he's speaking, so I want to hear what he has to say after Amari Cooper. Did we find out if Amari Cooper quit or retired?
They have him up as retired.
Okay, they have him up as retired, but that's not what I asked. I need to know the truth.
Okay.
Did he quit or did he retire? No one had that breaking news when I had my first cup of coffee today. Raider O in San Diego. Raider roll call. Where in San Diego again? You know, I lived there for 8 years.
Hey, JT, I live right near San Diego State University,
Yes.
Between Mission Valley and La Mesa. Great place. But actually came from San Jose by way of Brockton, Massachusetts. I grew up there, same town as Al Davis. He's going with the team in spirit this week. I have a feeling the quarterback's going to go down hard. And if he doesn't, I have a feeling that Mac's going to tip the ball out hard. And I can't wait to see Jamal Adams pick it up and take it back. I think the team that wins the turnover battle in week 1 will win because week 1 has mistakes. I'm looking for our backs to put on a show. One of the things that we forget about our 2016 season was how great our running backs were doing. We had a strong draw game. I think we're going to be able to make some big plays, and I cannot wait to see Ashton break a big one. My score prediction is going to be Raiders 26, Patriots 16. Thanks, JT.
All right, yeah, I'd like that score. Appreciate your call. Thanks for checking in. Raider O in the almost near the Cajon zone. If you know, you know, off the 8th freeway in San Diego. Ooh, I got to be very careful for this call. It's from Kansas City. You notice, Bobby, I have a radio show based in Vegas, but I get calls from San Diego. And now Bubba in Kansas City. Bubba, what's going on, man? Raiders open on the road in New England.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you know, living in enemy territory is not always easy, but, you know, you got to keep your head up and keep it moving. Super excited for this game. Super excited for the defense, for the offense, everybody to see the new pieces, just really get things going and really show their identity with really that vanilla preseason we had. So
Yes.
My final score prediction, we win 31-24 with a game-sealing pick to end the game.
Thank you. 31-24. Thank you. I talked to a Raider alumni today, not a gold jacket, but a gold jacket in my world. And he said, we're going to have to win this game in a shootout. I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, we're going to have to win this game in a shootout. New England's going to come to play. Are we going to be able to score 35? And I said, well, yeah, I think we'll score 35 at times this year. I don't know if we're going to score 35 in Foxborough when we didn't do anything in the preseason and show anybody our offense. Remember the great JT t-shirt. No one's ever made this t-shirt. You'll make $1 million if you do. Please give me $10 if you make $1 million. Run the plays that you ran in Henderson. That's all. That's all I ask. Whatever Chip ran in Henderson in the building, when the media wasn't allowed in, run those plays and hope they work. All right, Pete Carroll just spoke and wrapped it up with the media here over at the Intermountain Health Performance Center. Let's hear what the head coach had to say before they jumped on the plane.
You guys were 24-11 on games that started 10 a.m. Local time. So in addition to probably the message of don't make travel an excuse or anything like that, what practical things did you guys figure out on how to deal with that?
I love going to the East Coast to play games. That's it. And we got our way of doing it. And I know we've had a lot of success doing that, and it's never been an issue for us.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Geno Smith is known as having like a fiery competitive edge, a spirit. I was wondering, what do you like about that from a guy at the quarterback position?
No, I love that in all of our players, and he's no different than E-Rob or Max or those guys. They got the same kind of juice that they bring to the game, and we know that sometimes it's appropriate and sometimes it isn't. So we just have to work it with the quarterback position. But Geno has been a fiery competitor since he's a little kid, and that's him being himself. And I want him to be as true to him as he can possibly be. And so we'll work at all the rest of it.
Just to follow up on that, how do you know when to tone it down, or can you even do that?
That's a good question. I really can't tell you that. That's moments. That's in the moments and knowing what's going on with all the variables that are going on around it. But that's never been a problem. But it's you just got to feel it.
The group atmosphere looked sensational today in the practice. Can you tell us about it? La práctica se vio un ambiente grupal sensacional. ¿Nos puede decir un poco al respecto?
Sí. We've had a great week. The whole preparation, all the way back to the springtime, has been leading to getting ready for this season coming up. This happens to be the first real game for us, the in-season game. And, whether or not we hit it right or not, we're going to find out how we do and how we play. Really, what I want these guys to do is play like they're capable, and go out there and play the game that they know how to play, that we've come up to count for them to be and do. And if we do that, we'll be fine.
Expect Coach Vrabel team to be physical, kind of a classic approach, run the ball a lot. Have you changed your approach or philosophy at all working with Chip as an offensive coordinator, or is it largely kind of the same approach as Coach Vrabel?
No, I don't know that I have the same approach as Coach Vrabel. I'm not sure what it is. I'm just kind of from the outside in, just like you guys are observing. But from our end of it, we always want to balance the game out, and we want to do a really good job to do that. And that takes both sides of the football and the kicking game to work together to make that happen. Chip and I see eye to eye from the start of this conversation that we had about coming here and all of that. And I'm thrilled to be working with him, and can't wait to see it, all come to light. In not just the first game, but it'll take us, a month before you see really what we are and who we're becoming. But as far as somebody else's program, I don't know, how they're doing it. But in our place right here, we know that balance is huge, and so we need to always take care of the football. In those games you talked about, yeah, I think we were plus 28 turnover ratio. So you want to know how you win? That's how you win. Take care of the football.
You guys placed a big emphasis on Geno and Dante.
Monday.com's AI block.
All right, that jumped out there because they put in an ad. That's nice to know. Okay, so you heard a little bit of Pete Carroll. You'll hear my 10 minutes with him coming up as we get rolling here. So that's what we're doing today. You heard at the beginning of Pete Carroll. I thought the beginning of that press conference was very interesting because Vinny asked him, Vinny Bonsignore, about the great road record that Seattle had going east. Wow, that's a number. Did you hear that? They really traveled well, Seattle, and they had their program. I would assume whatever they did in Seattle, our travel team and equipment team, and our travel staff that goes out ahead is going to copy that. I can guarantee you that because Pete says it works for him. John Spytek's a first-year GM. He traveled well with Tampa, and they're going to travel on the road and get it done. So you'll hear Pete Carroll coming up in the 1 o'clock hour with me. 702-365-9200. Raider roll call in Stockton, California. T. Raider, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, JT? Great show as usual. Long-time listener back to the 1050 days in NorCal. This game is going to come down to a few basic things. Game is won and lost in the trenches. That hasn't changed in 100 years. It's not going to change on Sunday. You dominate the offensive and defensive line, you're going to win the game. I think offensively, we have more than they do. I'm curious to see Ashton Genty get going. But like you said, you got to see the push. Got to see him push off the ball. Give him some room to run. You're not going to do him any good if he's running to the back of his own people. That was a good point. I'm with you on that one. So my prediction for the game, I think the Raiders will pull this out. Be a close one, 27-24.
Yeah, I like that. I think you're right about that. Appreciate the call. Thank you. I don't predict games for a living, but I think the Raiders winning 24-21, 27-24. That would be fun. That would be fun for me. I'd be good on that. Anything, a win's a win. You got to get it. Like last night, very quickly, because we'll get to that later in the show. Last night's game, my son, who's here with me, had a whole bunch of friends over. Great plug for Grimaldi's. We walked in with 3 giant Grimaldi's, the calzone, the salads. My son's friends were blown away. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had. So we had a pizza party last night with a bunch of 22-year-olds hanging out. Yes, there were cervezas being poured. And they had a good time. And my wife and I were in another room, and all we heard was screaming as we were watching the game because every play in the first half, 7 drives, 7 scores. Dak Prescott looked fantastic. Jalen Hurts looked fantastic. Those teams were ready to play. I think the Dallas Cowboys would have won if Micah Parsons was available to play. I really do. I think he would have been available to play. I think the Dallas Cowboys would have won that game. No doubt about it. But he wasn't there. And Dallas ran out of steam. And then they had the lightning storm and the delay. And Dallas came out and Dallas couldn't get their offense going. But I thought Dallas looked really good. And CeeDee Lamb dropped 3 passes in the game. Oh, another comment I'd like to make about that. So I tweeted out, Jacoby Myers had 1,000 yards, didn't drop 1 ball. CeeDee Lamb dropped 3 in 1 game. And I got these Raider detectives and conspiracy theorists saying, what are you saying? Should we pay him or not? I didn't say anything. I said Jacoby Myers didn't drop a ball all year, and CeeDee Lamb dropped 3. Why does there have to be some conspiracy theory? No conspiracy theory. It's just pointing out that Jacoby Myers has got great hands last year. Man, the greatest tennis match in the world is going on. It just started. No score underway. Alcaraz Djokovic. Oh, this is insanity. This tennis match today. I know what I'm doing when I get out of here today. I'm getting in the pool and I'm watching this. All right. When we come back, we are going to dive into Chris Maathuis from 8 News Now, the dean of the newsmen. Fabulous. He was at the Little League World Series. He's back. 8 News Now has more Raider games than any other channel, and he's going to jump in and join us. The monologue brought to you by PTs, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. The best happy hour in town when you're coming home from work or you're going into your shift. Always good to stop by a PT's, the Sierra Gold, the Sean Patrick's, 70-plus taverns. They love football. They love the Golden Knights. They love everything about you coming in, and they're a proud partner of us year-round PTs. Yeah, this is a hell of a tennis match. This is like, even if you don't love tennis, this is like must-watch type stuff. Yeah, I don't know who makes this. Who makes this product? Nothing. Hope it's not someone who competes with my guys, but grabbed it on the fridge.
Wood Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun.
How we doing, chat? We got 392 in here today. How many on YouTube?
season long on Raider
Okay.
Nation Radio, 920 AM. When you need legal advice, you need the brothers. You need the DeCastroverde Law Firm. This is JT. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours too. For personal injuries and accidents, reach out to the DeCastroverde Law Firm. Let their family fight for yours. If you're experiencing a season of sports betting,
30 grams, Big D. 30 grams. How much is 30 grams in Humboldt County worth compared to that drink? Opening weekend, Snow Raider. The only place I'd rather be if I wasn't with the Raiders in New England or here would be Incline Village in Tahoe, watching the game on a boat in Tahoe, man. That would be good. Here's a guy that says, JT, just discovered you on YouTube. How do you just discover me? Bobby, I got guys at night call the radio show, go, JT, first time caller. No, man, thanks for finding me, man. Thanks for finding me. Subscribe.
It's how Cane's does game day. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. Original chicken fingers of the UNLV Rebels.
Then Chris.
We are a full go on football betting, and the best way to do it is to sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada mobile sports account. And you can earn up to a $250 bonus bet after placing your first qualifying wager. With the William Hill Nevada mobile sports app, you'll never miss another bet. William Hill has the largest wagering menu, and the app
What's that?
same game parlays, early cash out.
Am I done with the peep thing? Well, what happened there? What is that?
To see participating sign-up location, visit
Probably because we didn't take it live. Because we took it on, we took it on delay. Yeah, well, that's got to be it. Alcaraz is 22. He's got 5 majors. 5 already at 22. That is insane.
All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black, visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com.
All work, no play makes for one boring-ass week. Kick boredom to the curb with ice-cold beer, cocktails, and the best tavern food in town. Voted best happy hour in Las Vegas, there is no better place to be than PT's Taverns. Join us for half-off happy hour 5 to 7 p.m. and 12 to 2 a.m. daily for 50% off all, and we mean all drinks, even the good With over 70 locations,
even the good bleep, huh?
PT's Tavern near you. Visit ptstaverns.com to find your neighborhood tavern today.
Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, ask
Hey, JT. See you at the Torch on Monday Night Football. Yes, Buck. Come on in and say hello.
When you call the Richard Harris Law Firm, you already know we're local. I grew up here.
Eric Allen will be here, and now he's a Hall of Famer. His selfie line at the Torch is going to be pretty long.
Billions and all with our less fee guarantee. Who you hire matters. The Richard Harris Law Firm, 444-44.
To 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Prepare like I have before. Obviously, in the NFL, details are a step higher, so I'm taking my details a step higher. And, how I'm preparing for the game, whether that's watching film, making sure I know the playbook, in and out, what I'm going to see on defense. But exactly that, prepare like it was a Super Bowl game or not, prepare the exact same way.
The Silver Surfer, turn it up, Led Zeppelin. Let's go. Let's get the energy going today. Let's go, man. It's a Raider Roll Call Friday. And if you're following me on YouTube, you'll see a tremendous picture right in the middle of my YouTube screen of Chris Maathuis. Look at this photo. The Dean of the Newsmen, Chris Maathuis, every other Friday, back from Williamsport in the Little League World Series. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much, JT, for inviting me on.
Yes, you've been busy. You've been really busy. I want to start before we get to the Raiders. Knowing you as long as we've known each other and being friends, it seemed like you really embraced what Summerlin South did on that trip, and then the parade, which my wife and I watched. That was a great experience. And when we look back at the year 2025 in sports in Vegas, that's going to be near the top of the list.
Oh, it's got to be right near the top. That was one of that one and the one that I did back in 2014 with the Mountain Ridge team getting there, and just really a career highlight for me. And when you think about it, the kids I was thinking about this when I was there, the kids that were playing on the field, the South Summerlin kids, they were 1 year old when that Mountain Ridge team went to Williamsport and played Chicago in the U.S. title game. So it's crazy how fast time goes, but that was a terrific run for that team, and a couple of those games, the way they unfolded, it was just, like I say, a career highlight. One of those things you look back and it's the innocence of the 12-year-olds, the coach, the manager, just everything about that experience. If you ever have a chance to go back to Williamsport, and just maybe if you're driving through and you plan a vacation, you got to check out Williamsport during the Little League World Series, because it is so much fun. They do a terrific job. I had a blast. I really did.
Chris Maathuis is our guest. 8 News Now covers more Raider games on TV than any other channel. I know you're excited about that, your coverage, which we'll get to when we wrap it up. But this is big, Chris. The Raiders are playing a 4-win team. Raiders were a 4-win team. New England won't have Christian Gonzalez, who's a second-team all-pro cornerback. They got a player banged up on the offensive line. I think overall the Raiders have to look at this, because there's no weather back there, not snow, not cold. They have to look at this as a road victory that they have to get off to a good start in the Pete Carroll era. How do you see it?
Well, and that's the key right there, is to get off to the good start and kind of establish yourself. Now, the press conference today with Pete Carroll, he talked about, we're not obviously not a finished product. What we are at the beginning of the season on Sunday will not be what we will be in a month from now. But I thought the biggest takeaway from Pete Carroll today, and it relates to this game Sunday, is you got to take care of the ball. You cannot turn the ball over. I think he said something like that's where it all starts. If you want to win, you got to take care of the ball. Well, you look at last night's game, really, between the Cowboys and the Eagles. The Cowboys were down in the red zone with an opportunity to go in and score and completely change the complexion of that game, and they fumbled the ball away. It's just, just turnovers are so key, and it magnifies, especially in the NFL. Just those turnovers are so important. And now, and you mentioned it. On paper, I think the Raiders are the better team. They go back there, we'll see. But you got the quarterback now. I think it was JT. I think it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. You and I were talking about Derek Carr, and I said I wish that Derek Carr had a little more Brett Favre in him. Well, I think that Geno Smith has a little bit more of that Brett Favre in him, where he'll take a few gambles, a few chances. He can run around and scramble a bit. I'm excited to see this team. I really am.
Chris Maathuis joins us, 8 News Now. So the roster moves. Earlier today, the Raiders signed wide receiver Justin Shorter to the active roster and brought back Philip Dorsett to the practice squad because Amari Cooper retired. And I was really looking forward to seeing Amari play, because I've seen him play so much. I know how good of a player he was, and I figured out he'd be pretty good on a 3rd down or a 2nd and 8 moving the chains. I wasn't looking for a Pro Bowl year out of him, but what was that all about, Chris? Calls Pete Carroll and he just checks out and retires after taking a roster spot. I don't think it's a distraction to the team as they get on the plane to go back to Boston, New England here, but I didn't expect that. I don't think that's a good thing.
No, it was certainly a shock, and Carroll addressed that today as well. Just that, you know what? If your mind's not in it, especially NFL, if your heart and gut and mind isn't into the season and you're not really there, I think it'd be really tough to try to fake it in the NFL. I don't think you can, actually. So if he's not really ready to go, and I don't know the reasons behind, we haven't heard from Amari and to tell us why he decided just to suddenly up and quit. But boy, if your heart's not in it and you don't want to get that beating and take that punishment, then it probably is best to walk away. But certainly a shocker when you were all ready to go, and he could have been a great mentor in the locker room to some of these young guys. Now on the flip side, JT, it gives some of these young guys, Besh and Thornton, and these guys an opportunity to really shine and kind of prove what they can do. But it's very, very tough to lose a guy with that experience. I don't know how much he would have played anyway. He wasn't around the whole, summer camp, training camp, but just that experience and that comfort to know that, hey, maybe 3rd and 3, you look to him. I mean, Geno Smith, I'm sure, is kind of going, oh man.
Yeah, Chris Maathuis is our guest. As we wrap this up on the Raiders front, really important to get your perspective on the entire offseason. OTAs, mini camp, training camp, the preseason. There wasn't a lot of distractions, but Pete Carroll installed his new program. He sounds like he's a college coach, not his new game plan, his program like he did at USC. I like what he's done. I'm not thrilled with the secondary depth. The offensive line, they made Jackson Powers Johnson go earn it. We mentioned Amari stepping down, but overall, I like what I saw. I like the new players. I really love the explosiveness of the offense. So give me your big picture on why Raider fans should be excited to kick off the 2025 season.
When you mentioned that, JT, I think the first thing that comes to mind when you were saying, how'd the whole summer go and the preseason and the games, here's the biggest thing that I take away. Relatively very few injuries. All the major stars are still there. All the big players are still there. They're healthy. They're ready to go. You don't have a Malcolm Kuntz who goes down in the preseason out for the year. So I think just that preseason was phenomenal. They can come out of that with the players that they worked with, no major injuries. They can go into the season relatively healthy. They might be one of the most healthy teams in the NFL. I haven't looked into all the injury reports, but they actually might be one of the most healthy teams in the National Football League as you roll into the season. So I think that's big. I just think, and what's I think big too, JT, is the fact they went out and got a marquee player like Ashton Genty that can get these fans fired up. Now, I know, a defensive lineman would have been important, maybe an offensive lineman, those kind of players. But when you go out and get a marquee position player like running back, high profile, I just think it kind of gets everybody fired up. Everybody's talking. You and I go around this town a lot and meet a lot of sports people. There's just a different vibe in Las Vegas with this team. I think it has to do with Pete Carroll. I think it has to do with the quarterback. I think it has to do with the drafting of Ashton Genty, some excitement, a position player. If that offensive line could open some holes, who knows what's going to happen? And the red zone offense, remember, it seems like for the last 5 years, we've talked about all the woes in the red zone. Well, this year it might be different, which gets you excited with the tight ends and the running back and the offensive line if they can open some holes. But you mentioned the question marks on defense will be question marks until they're not question marks. So I feel there's just a different vibe talking with everybody in this town. They're excited about this version of the Raiders, and it starts at the very top with Pete Carroll.
All right, Chris, we'll talk to you not this next Friday, but the one after that. But what a weekend. Next weekend with Canelo, Crawford, and then the Raiders on Monday night. I mean, this is a monster to bookend a super fight at Allegiant Stadium and then give them time. I'm sure you're going to do a story or someone on your team is going to talk about that turnaround and how they tear down the ring and the floors and get it ready for Monday night. You want to talk about threading a needle when it comes to global stadiums. But this is going to be exceptional, and you and I have sat next to each other for a lot of big fights. It doesn't get much bigger than this one.
No, this is the big one, and this is why they brought it here. The Independence Weekend. It's going to be a big Mexican holiday here. There'll be a lot of fans. Allegiant Stadium will be absolutely rocking. Tickets way up top are still, in the $400 range, $300-400 range. So the excitement's there. That the Canelo and Crawford, it doesn't get any bigger or better than that. They moved a UNLV football game to make way for this fight. That's how big it is. And you mentioned the Monday night game against the Chargers. So Vegas just keeps going, just keeps rolling. They do what they do. You go from training now, because picture this now, Golden Knights training camp begins. You got hockey beginning. You got the fight. Then on that Monday, you got the Chargers, and you just roll right into the preseason NHL games. JT, that's why you and I absolutely love Las Vegas. It's always something happening.
And this UNLV game is pretty big because they should have lost to Idaho State. They did nothing defensively to win that game, and they pulled it out against an inferior team that played well. UCLA looked awful. They played, and you know this, and the opponent they played awful. Their fans are freaking out. This is the last stand for UCLA coming in here. If they don't win this game and they lose to UNLV, everybody's checked out at the Rose Bowl going forward. This is a marquee game. It feels really important for UNLV to kind of get their mojo going at Allegiant with their biggest crowd, and UCLA's in the fight of their life.
Yeah, this is huge for both schools. Like you mentioned, the UCLA fans, they don't travel well, which would give fans here in Las Vegas an opportunity to go out there, check it out, go to Allegiant Stadium. It starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Really the biggest game on the schedule, certainly the biggest home game on UNLV's schedule, and probably the biggest game. We'll see what Boise State ends up being, but this could be a monster game for UNLV looking down the road, preparing for what could possibly a special year with Dan Mullen. But, you know, those UCLA fans, after they got drubbed by Utah, they went nuts on their 5-star quarterback, Nico, and they couldn't do anything. And so, this will be a fun test for UNLV with Dan Mullen, all his experience, all those 3- and 4-star players that came from other schools, a lot of Power 4 schools too that came here to play, and they're fired up. In fact, it was Brown, who was the cornerback who picked off Nico in this past, picked off the Sam Houston State guy and ran it in for a touchdown, that pick 6. He said that he's not intimidated by Nico, the quarterback. So these guys have played in big moments, these transfers that came into UNLV. So they're not going to be intimidated by the moment, but it's going to be a big, big game for UNLV.
Thank you, Chris. I'll talk to you soon. Always appreciate you.
Thanks, JT. Appreciate it.
The Dean of the Newsmen, Chris Maathuis, brought to you by Findlay Volvo, Las Vegas. Man, they got it. The XC90 Hybrid 3. You're going to love this. The Hybrid 3-row luxury SUV. If you're considering a luxury SUV for your family, you need to look at the 2025 Volvo XC90 Hybrid. I love a hybrid with 3-row seating. It earned the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety's Top Safety Pick Award, a very safe vehicle. They're our new partner. They're right on the 215 at Rainbow. I texted Mike today. We start today. If you're looking for a new vehicle, please just go there and test drive it. I think it'll blow you away. They're proud partner of Raider Nation Radio. Wow, Chris is great. And we were able to have a nice conversation with him. So what we do is, what we're doing, I'll take you behind the scenes, is we set up this grid. So every other week we have our guest on instead of having them on every week, because you wear them out if you have them on every week. You wear them out, especially if last year we lost 10 in a row. So we have them every 2 weeks, and we got 11 insiders, including Chris, and they're going to be basically reporting on the Raiders, and then we're going to fill in some other sections every week by getting in insiders from the team that we're going up against. Stevie G in the town, Oaktown. What's happening?
What is happening, JT? Week 1, exciting.
Yeah.
Always exciting. The whole world is open. Everything's open for accomplishing all the goals set before us, and it looks like we're prepared to get going. So I'm excited, very much excited for this. And I think Brock Bowers will have something for that Patriots secondary waiting for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him, mature into his second year, and obviously with the rookie Ashton Genty, proving that we're going to run the ball this year. And in running that ball, I'm looking to see how we stack up. I'm hoping that our offensive line is going to just continue to develop. I know we added some pieces, but with the experience that we brought in, I'm just hoping that we kind of settle in. And one thing we have to remember as an organization, the Raiders of all the teams in the NFL are known for their offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Upshaw, Shell, Otto, the grand patriarch, I think, of offensive linemen. I mean, the 00 is Hall of Fame iconic, and that's the Raiders. So I'm looking for this offensive line to step up as well. So just want to say that, and hey, best to all, best of everything to Amari Cooper on his retirement. You got to just play until you know you can. And that's what he's done. So I know he's given it his all, and glad he came back to the Raiders to retire with the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And that's it, JT. Looking forward to this. And, man, thanks so much for providing the platform.
Yeah, I thank Lotus Broadcasting and the Raiders for giving me this platform. And then I take the platform and I give it to you. And you can do whatever you want with it. You can call in, you can tweet, you can watch us. And I thank everybody as we get ready to go here. We're brought to you by Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Man, Virgin on a Friday? Come on, let's go, man. Get on out to Virgin on a Friday. See all of their new activations that Cliff has going on. We still got plenty of pool time to go out to Virgin's pools, which are great. All their live entertainment from 24 Oxford to the theater, and all their great restaurants, including One Steak, Michael Morton and Jenna Morton's masterpiece when it comes to the kitchen and the bar with John O'Donnell. Go head out there. I have an interesting weekend. My young son is here in studio with me. My oldest son just landed in Oklahoma for Oklahoma, Michigan. And Bobby, when we come back, my wife's going to a concert. She kind of dropped it on me midweek. So it's my gift to her because we had yesterday our 26th wedding anniversary. What concert is my wife going to?
I know.
She's going out of town, man. This ain't at the Red Rock. This ain't at the M Pool. And I'm excited. Happy life, happy wife. We'll play the music coming out of the break as a clue as we continue on the flagship. See, so that's why you get the clues here. My wife is going to Oasis at the Rose Bowl. How big of a show is that? I don't like that one. Shit. Bachelor Brick Weekend. I've had a few of those over my life. That's not one of them this weekend. Next weekend is insane. We have Canelo on Saturday. We have the Raiders on Monday. Only thing standing in my way is my Sunday night Mad Dog show. But yeah. So I think Andy Gresh is going at 1. So if we do that at 1, we'll move Pete Carroll to 120 or whatever. You should have his number, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think what's interesting is Twitter has a background in settings. No, I know in settings. Go into settings or whatever, and then you get to check. You get to check the. No, it's the lighting. It comes up and. What's up with the chat here? Happy spouse, happy house. Oh, happy house, happy spouse. Max is coming on with me Tuesday. Yes, Oasis in Pasadena. Where's Hacksaw? Hacksaw's on next week for a Raiders Chargers preview. Bobby, I'm assuming we're not on the radio Monday, or are we? Or
Monday coming?
Yeah. Well, I got to do the game, pre-game.
It's Monday coming.
Yeah.
A week from this Monday.
Yeah.
That would pick up with Q. I have no idea. I ain't that far ahead. I'm on New England at the moment.
Banks require good credit. So how does that work at Dollar Loan Center? Look, a lot of people have a crappy credit score, Craig. So what? That's our specialty, and we look at the whole picture.
LaDainian did crush Oakland. We couldn't stop him at all.
We know it's important to our borrowers. Well, what if you were denied in the past? I love that question. If you were denied in the past and are still looking for a loan, before you...
Do we have a Chargers infiltrator on the Raider YouTube channel at JT?
You might have a co-signer, new job, or raise, who knows? But we sure would like a chance to help you out. DLC lends up to $5,000.
Excuse me.
Cash in person at one of our 70 locations, on our website, don'tbebroke.com, or even over the phone with one of our helpful, real staff members. You're gonna love
Alcaraz 3, Djokovic 2 in the first set of the semis. There's nothing bigger in sports than that. Sorry. It's bigger than anything right now.
Spanish too.
With all that fighting, we've become Nevada's largest personal injury law firm, recovering billions for our clients. Who you hire matters. Why would you call anyone else? The Richard Harris Law Firm.
Football is here. The Golden Circle Sports Bar inside Treasure Island Hotel and Casino is the best place to watch games on the Strip. There's a huge video wall and over 55 plus screens throughout the bar. Place your sports bets at the new STN Sportsbook. The menu with the Golden Circle Burger, the Linebacker Bison Burger, Philly Cheesesteak, the Polish Sausage, and so much more is dynamite.
Did your brother land yet?
Sports Bar's happy hour is amazing with $5 draft beers every day from 10 to 6
Yeah,
p.m. The Vegas destination for those seeking a contemporary resort experience with an ideal location.
Got phones, Bobby, or no?
Yeah, I got the 2 calls and it's still there.
Do I have them on the sheet? Okay, thank you.
Geno Smith coming back.
Yeah, it feels great to be preparing, for a game week. I think we've done a great job, in handling what's in front of us, and today's no different, man. We got a practice coming up. Looking forward to getting better at practice and taking it day by day.
Gino, that is Gino. Turn it up. Yeah, so my wife is heading to Pasadena to the Rose Bowl for Oasis, which is by far the biggest concert in the world, right? Nothing's close to this show. And, the Swifties are taking a break and Lady B's taking a break. Turn up the Oasis. All right, so she's rolling into that. That's going to be a good show. And then next week, we're rolling into Monday Night Football. And my sons and I are going to Canelo, dad and son night for Canelo. As Canelo's fighting Bud Crawford. I think Crawford's winning that fight. He's younger, but, man, I had a good conversation with the legendary boxing ref, Joe Cortez, about that fight. And going up in weight's going to be tough for Crawford. Raider Don is in Philadelphia, after the win last night. Hey, Don, that was a late night in Philly for those Eagle fans.
Yeah, it sure was, JT. How you doing anyway?
Good, man.
All right. Well, here's what I think's going to happen. I think it's going to be a Geno day as he rushes for a touchdown and he also throws for 2 as the Raiders secure a big win, and I'm giving the score 31-21 Raiders.
Hey, Geno,
baby.
Geno, is there any chance that if Geno puts up 40, can you send me an original Geno's Phillies cheesesteak? You find a way to box it up and get it to me if Geno can do that for you, for all those Philadelphia fans out there. That'd be something, wouldn't it?
You got it, JT.
Take care. Raider Don in Philly. Gangster Raider wrapping up the hour here on the flagship with a prediction. He gave us a blowout earlier in the week. What do you got for me now?
It's the same thing. I predict 34-15 win. And I know you don't believe in a must win, but I say this is a can't lose game. It's a bit of a difference because I believe we can't lose because the fact that Josh McDaniels, the last time he coached was when he coached with us. So if he come back and get a victory against us, that'll give him a little bit of chip or a little bit of momentum going into the season. So that's why I said we can't lose this game. We must go in there and crush him completely. Don't even let him get a touchdown. That's why I said we hold him to 5 field goals. We win 34-15, and we crush his soul completely. You know what I mean? And I think we got a better coach, we got a better quarterback, and we got the better offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? I think once we come out and establish our offense, the defense can take over. That's why I said we win 34-15, and this is a can't-lose game. It's not a must-win, but we can't lose this game because it'll give Josh McDaniels some confidence. And for him to leave our organization the way he left, and us to go in there and crush him and don't even hold him to a touchdown, I think that will stop the momentum going into the season and build our momentum at the same time. So it'll be a double-edged sword. So I'm sticking to my prediction, 34-15, and I'll call you back on Monday, let you know how close I was, so you can give me my props.
I would give you your props, man.
Y'all, I'm gone.
Gangster Raider wants to make sure Josh McDaniels does not win this game. Remy Martin, 1738. Cognac's all about sharing great moments. Man, would a Raider win in New England be a great moment? Just like the greatest Raider moments of the past, the Heidi game, the Holy Roller, Red Right 88, Super Bowl 11, 15-18, just to name a few. This season, let's celebrate all the great moments with Remy Martin, 1738 Cognac. Sip like sports royalty, Remy Martin. All right, that was an outstanding hour of radio. Amazing. And I had nothing to do with it. All you guys did. Fantastic. Coming up, hour number 2, Andy Gresh. Big-time radio host, big-time Patriot guy. He's coming up. That'll be the perfect 3 insiders we had this week. And then my conversation with Pete Carroll. My first sit down with Pete Carroll one-on-one. I thought it was really cool what he had to say. You'll hear that on the flagship of the Raiders. Playing Spanish? Cool. All right, I'm going to take a load off, sit down for a minute. My son's out of here. He's going to play golf, which is good. If I was 22, I'd be playing golf today too, man. You'll have a good golf day. Good job this week. We'll see you at the house. Carl's pretty easy to get that picture up.
Yeah, we'll get it better so you're bigger too.
Right. Yeah, I just think it should be side by side. Did you hit the monetize thing that he said? Yeah, good. Harry Connick Jr., Clive Davis, Sergio Garcia. They're all at this tennis match. Wow. Yeah, Gangster Raider said 34-15. Gangster Raider.
Will Campbell's hurt too.
Will Campbell's hurt, yeah.
I just don't want Trady. They got Trady on Henderson, though. Ohio State kid. I think he's going to be
Busy Boots Automotive on South Durango at Durango and online at busyboots.com. The key to everything starts with a home.
It's where families grow, where kids thrive, and where communities.
Score prediction for tonight. Wow, that's good. I was talking to Fred Biletnikoff about this today. I won't tell you what he said, but I think it's important Kansas City wins because Kansas City is going to win a lot of games, and I want this to be a Kansas City win because I need some Charger losses, man. I need some losses. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. Number one, you want the Chargers coming in with a loss, or you want them coming in for a win and the Raiders beat them. I hope the Chargers look like shit and they get beat. That's what I hope happens, man. That's what I hope happens. I think Chiefs 27, Chargers 21 sounds about right. Dodger blue? Yeah, I'm not a Dodger fan. I'm a Yankee fan. My Yankees took 2 out of 3 in Houston. Should have been 3 out of 3. The game 2 loss is still haunting. What's up with the Dodgers can't freaking beat Pittsburgh? You know how shitty it would be if the Dodgers won the World Series this year after their terrible season? The Dodgers have been awful this year. Awful. Now, I know how good they are when healthy, and I know they've been injured. But the Dodgers this year have sucked. The Dodgers should have won the West by 15 games. 15. And they're not very good. And the Padres continue to choke. All right, Bobby. He'll call you, or you have the backup for him. Good. You got some aviators? What do you got this weekend?
I got aviators tonight, and I got the Raiders on Sunday.
Call Sam and Ash. 702-303-0333.
Tonight's three game is 2 weeks from Sunday.
Because you deserve what's right.
Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and DIYers. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware has the tools, parts, and supplies to power your next project. Open early and stocked with everything you need. Stop by South Decatur near Russell. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware. Fast, easy, and built for the pros.
If you're experiencing a season of sports betting couch slouch, it's time to get off your app and get in the game. Rampart Casino is the place to be on game day.
All right, yeah. Gresh.
Yep. Contests, giveaways, and more. Plus, we have some of the best odds in Summerlin. Catch all the action on Rampart's Racing Sportsbook Big Screen, or watch the casino big screen TVs while you play your favorite slots and table games. Get off your app.
Looks like Alcaraz is going to win the first set.
Friends and fun, Rampart's #1. Never miss another show. Stream us live or listen to past podcasts 24/7 at LVSportsNetwork.com. This is Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLD Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Las Vegas Raiders football.
The starters out there, looking left at the shotgun.
Touchdown, Las Vegas Raiders. Dylan Lobby, hands looking right, pump fakes. He's going to go deep down the sideline. That'll be a touchdown. Cedric Jackson for the Las Vegas Raiders. Looked off the coverage, hit it down the sideline. He on the shotgun, looking left and then back right to Dante for a quarterback. He catches it at the end. Touchdown, Las Vegas Raiders. Dante Barton right on the back shoulder, and the Raiders are on the board.
Yeah, we're back. It's our final hour of the week until I'm live on the Raiders pregame show, Compass Media Networks. That'll be at 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning Pacific time on Sunday as the Raiders are getting ready to go up in the air. They're getting ready to go up in the air to go to Boston, New England, Rhode Island, Raider Nation on the road there. So Andy Gresh will join us coming up. He's the last of our Patriot insiders who will jump on the show here coming up. So we'll get his opinion on this game, which is an important one because the Patriots got some injuries. When I saw the injury report, it's good to see that the Raiders injury report's pretty clean. And the Patriots won't have Christian Gonzalez. And with Christian Gonzalez being out, that's huge. Second team All-Pro. I thought the Raiders were going to draft him a few years ago. This guy's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler. Probably like Patrick Surtain, one of those type of players who's in the Pro Bowl almost every year. So he's not going. That helps out the Raiders. And we got to see what's going to happen with the Raiders. I don't know what the Raiders are going to look like because they didn't show us much in the preseason, and I did the play-by-play. They were very vanilla on offense, okay. Defensively, I didn't think they were great, did you? They had a great series of drive in Arizona when Max got a tackle for a loss. But overall, I think the stopping the run is going to be very important, hugely important. I think second, what's going to happen is protecting the middle of the field. The middle of the field is going to be really important because every offensive coordinator, including Josh McDaniels, knows the middle of the field has been open for the Raiders. If you remember, when Josh McDaniels was the head coach of the team, when Josh McDaniels was the head coach, and I interviewed him every week for TV, I knew he had the offense figured out. He didn't have the quarterback. He had Jimmy Garoppolo. He had, we're talking about Aiden O'Connell. But one thing that Josh knew was on the defense, the Raiders couldn't stop anybody. And now he's the offensive coordinator. Don't you think he's going to attack the middle of the field? That's where the Raiders have been vulnerable. Andy Gresh, my teammate on Mad Dog Sports Radio, all the work that he does, he's on several different platforms. It's nice that we could catch up to him here as the game's coming up this weekend. Andy, I wish it was in the middle of the season, but they're forcing us to come together mano a mano for week one. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, JT, and I'll tell you, brother, the weather now is way better than it would be in a couple of weeks. We're still feeling summer out here in New England. If say this were around Halloween, like it's great that the Dolphins are coming in at the end of the year, JT, because they lose to the thermometer. And at Halloween, it would be palatable but much more cold. I prefer the Vegas weather. My wife and I are coming out there for the NASCAR race. We love it out there. We go a couple times a year. So even though my heart may be back here, I love your part of the world.
Andy, thank you for that. And what's interesting, my dad used to say that. He's still with us at 87. And he grew up rooting against the Patriots in New York as a Giant fan. He'd say the Patriots during the Brady era, every August and early September, you all knew that you were going to go out there with T-shirts and tank tops, and you were guaranteed home playoff games before the season started. Belichick and Brady told you guys as you were tailgating, we'll see you back in January because we're going to the playoffs. That's not the case now. Maybe it will be in the future as Vrabel takes over. What has Vrabel brought back to the organization?
Oh, my goodness. An adult running it, quite honestly. JT, listen, the last year Belichick, and people argue Bill got in his own way. It was a 4-win season. But even though they were losing games 6-0 to the Chargers, they were still in those games. Last year, it felt like the culture was really eroding. And I'll tell you what really woke the cracks up, JT, and this doesn't happen everywhere. People were voting with their feet. There were some pretty light crowds at the end of the year. So it became, well, heck, if it's going to be cold and they're going to suck, I'll just stay at home.
they started to make certain food free in the red area, the club area. You know, my father-in-law's had seats there for 20 years. I went up to go get a haul of food at the last game of the year, and they go, "Oh, no, this is free for the people in the club." So they were really worried about eroding what Belichick had kind of built in terms of the credibility of the organization. And when Vrabel walked in day one, JT, for those who want to know the difference between the Patriots last year and this year, watch Gerard Mayo's introductory press conference and the way he handled it and the stuff he hit on, and then the way Mike Vrabel had his introductory press conference. You knew you were back to having someone who was in charge and ready to lead people. And I think Vrabel has done that, not only JT on the field, but off the field as well. The organization was getting a little squirrely under Mayo. There are certain people, Robin Glazier included, that are gone. So there's been it's not going back to the Belichick ways, but it's leaning more towards them because in my mind, JT, Gerard Mayo last year, his philosophy was whatever Bill did, I'm going the other way. And the players didn't really respect him and it just went sideways on him.
Andy Gresh, kind enough to join us. Tell us about the Christian Gonzalez injury and how it affects the team overall. They'll eventually get him back. That was someone the Raiders had on their radar going into that draft. I think he's an incredible athlete with upside and a guy who could be that perennial shutdown corner that a couple of teams have. How big does that play into this game against Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, Geno Smith, and what the Raiders want to do?
Yeah, JT, it's big because, you know, if Vrabel goes the Belichick way, which I think he will try to take Bowers out of the game. One of the ways they might have been able to have done that was to take a bigger, longer corner and put that guy on Bowers in the right situations. Well, now that's gone. And they really don't have anyone that is a natural matchup. Bowers is so good anyway. There are not a lot of people that match up with him. So I think it's going to be more of the Belichick approach. I expect the Raiders to get Bowers off the line of scrimmage so that it's easier to hit him. So it's not as easy to get him at the first level. I'm sure he'll still be an inline tight end. But I think if his hand is down, he's getting hit first level.
Yeah.
So maybe you got to get Bowers in the slot a little bit, get him out wide, use him in motion him out of the backfield. I think they got to play keep away because if I'm the Patriots, I'm just trying to hit him as much as I can going down the field within the rules of the game and just try to make it difficult on him. That's really about all you can do because there just isn't anybody they can put out there. They might try. I don't know if they tried Kyle Duggar because he's a little bit bigger. JT, that might be the best guy, but otherwise, if Bowers is used correctly, he can still get 7 catches for 80 yards, I think, on this defense.
Andy Gresh, as we wrap it up. So you know Max Crosby's coming. He'll have to be chipped and double teamed, no doubt. Raiders have a pretty good defensive line, and that's even without Christian Wilkins, who they cut and let go. They got veteran linebackers, but they're very thin at corner and very young at corner, and they don't have a superstar there. Tell me about Drake May and the weapons that he has there, from Diggs to the second line of receivers, because I got to assume Josh McDaniels is going to want to get the tight end going over the middle of the field, and he's going to want to have the wide receivers. Do they have a speed guy? Because Diggs is not as fast as they used to be, a speed guy who can get deep.
No, but JT, I heard your comments as I was on hold with McDaniels and attacking the middle of the field. And remember, there's 2 ways to do that. There's the vertical, and then there is the horizontal way of all those crossing routes. The Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady, and think of all those small little receivers over the years who caught the ball between the hashes. That might be Pop Douglas tomorrow. So I would say Pop might be the candidate that, yeah, they might try to get Henry and crew down the field, but I wonder about some of those stop routes in the middle, some easier things in between the hashes to get it going. JT, I will say this. The left tackle, Will Campbell, was surprisingly downgraded earlier today. But I'll tell you what, I think that kid's going to give it a go. And JT, I know you and I have crossed paths a long time. Will Campbell's like one of the guys who you would be like, okay, I want to sit and talk to that guy for a while and have a cigar with. He's the right kind of Southern wise ass, but he also is very like old school in the work ethic. He shows up early, puts in the work. He really believes in doing the grunt work. It was surprised that he showed up. I don't know if something happened in practice today or whatever, but if he goes down, right, then it's Fedarian Lowe, and oh my God. But they just really don't have a backup at left tackle. So that's something Laker fans can kind of keep an eye on. The Campbell, turned up on the injury report here, and they're good. Something like he's barking, who in the world knows?
Andy, as we wrap it up, I had Tom Kern on this week, Greg Bedard. We wrap it up with you. I mean, that's like the three amigos, man. That's about as big as you can book for the opponent when it comes to sports radio. And I asked them all about the Brady factor because I've been doing this a long time, and my career started in Boston on the Sports Hub and EEI and covered Brady's entire career. Alex Guerrero would listen to me on the radio. So I got a little history with the Tuck Rule and the Patriots. In none of our wildest dreams did I ever think that Tom Brady would be walking into buildings with the Al Davis white leather jacket as a minority owner who has a tremendous amount of influence. How is that going over in New England, all throughout New England, that Brady wants the Raiders to win now? This isn't a consultant or a broadcaster. This is an owner now that wants his team to win every time. How's that going over back home with you?
You know what? It really isn't getting as much attention as you thought. I heard somebody make the funny joke today about, this is the first time in NFL history where the other team's owner has a statue in front of the stadium they're playing in. It's just really odd more than anything else. But you know what, JT? The Brady heartbreak happened when he left. I don't think for any real Tom Brady fan, none of what is happening now post-football career hurt as much as him leaving and then taking somebody else's players and still beating this alleged greatest ever Patrick Mahomes in 2000. And he had Gronk there to do it, who is immensely popular up here. So it's not that it's not on the radar, JT. I just think that nothing will hurt worse than 2019. So this is just another, I think people, if anything, they're happy for Brady that he got a chance to get into the club. And I always tell people, is Tom Brady really the owner? Or the guy that gave Tom Brady the money really the owner? I know he has $375 million on his schedule with Fox, but that's a pretty big valuation for the that he bought. And I know he got dough, but he ain't got that kind of dough.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Andy, from the time he agreed to terms with the Raiders and closed that deal and what they're worth now, you should do a deep dive podcast. I think, and I could be wrong. There's some great investments in sports history, but as you said, we think of individual owners now, the Kraft family with Jonathan, with his dad. We think of Stephen Jones going to take over for Jerry. The 10% of the Raiders in Vegas 10 years from now, it's over $9 billion now. 10 years from now, it's going to be $20 billion with a B. If Brady's got 10% of that, or it goes to 15 or 20, the number is going to be life-changing. And I don't think LeBron, who's got some English soccer investments and other ones, this could be the one that everyone looks back on. And it'll be interesting to see, because it's a great point. I'm going to use it on the pregame show. Is this the first time a team plays another team with the owner statue, the player statue outside? That's incredible.
It really is. It is crazy when you think about it. And look, there weren't even going back in when Brady had the house near Brookline Country Club and Mr. Kraft had land near there, and the Brookline team, everybody worked together, and Brady built this giant monstrosity. There have been people for many years who've been kind of like winking and nodding almost at some of the Brady business transactions. Well, listen, he's done great in real estate, but to your point, JT, at one point in time, I really thought when LeBron James started playing basketball that he would make so much money that he could buy a team on his own. And boy, was I way wrong on that, because the valuations have just gone through the roof. And, you're right. It's amazing to think that there are some people sitting in president offices right now at NFL teams who someday will get an $8 billion gift. It's just wild.
Hey, lastly, we're both teammates on Mad Dog, and I look at any shift now as like a bartending shift. If you put me on at 8 in the morning or 10 at night, it's just a shift. I love it. I'm doing 3 nights a week. That's about the max I can do. But because of the addition of my guy Stephen A, I got pushed back an hour, so it's 8 to 11 Pacific, and I can handle that. I don't go to bed until 11 o'clock at night, but it's till 2 a.m. your time. So if you're driving around one night after midnight and hear me, help a brother out to get to the bottom of the hour, if you know what I'm saying.
I'll tell you, you know what? I hate it. Like when we were younger, the older people would be like, wait until you get older. And you're like, bull crap. That's not going to happen to me. And then you're right. You get to that point where you're like, oh man, it's midnight, and if there isn't some appropriate level of fun, I'm willing to kind of start to feel it a little bit. My goodness.
Well, you notice I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
I'm loving it that we're teammates. Thanks for having me on. You're always so gracious with your time, JT.
Take care, brother. Take care.
Yeah, listen, good luck to the Raiders this year. I think Vegas is in my future at some point, so I'm going to definitely be following along.
Hey, yeah, you take it, Eddie. Thank you, man. Reach out during NASCAR. I always go out to NASCAR. I love NASCAR in Vegas. I love it. Alcaraz won the first set 6-4. Joker's up 2-0 in the second. I have never been more excited to go home and get in my pool and watch a tennis match on a raft. I'm going to watch this thing till the end. I hope it goes 5 sets. So, Bobby, turn the mic on because you did everything with this. We can never we will, but it's hard to do a job like we did this week. And thank you. To get Greg Bedard, Tom Curran, and Andy Gresh on from the other side. Not a lot of radio shows. Fortunately, on this channel they do, but you got to be able to bring the other side.
Of course.
You grew up a diehard Patriot fan. You have these names in your Rolodex. To get these guys on this week for our audience, a lot of Raider fans, I know they appreciate it because we got to look at, we can't be homers all the time. Yeah, I'm a homer for the Raiders. I want them to win. And everybody we had on this week thinks the Patriots are in trouble. And the Raiders, if they're going to win a game, the Raiders early, it should be this one.
Well, that's kind of the Patriot mentality ever since Brady left. They expect the worst first as opposed to expecting great things to happen. That kind of makes sense to me. I mean, after a 4-13 record, they figure the Raiders are going to come in and roll them right over.
Yeah,
we'll see if that happens because there's also people that think that the Raiders, not so much of an improvement. So we'll find out.
Yep. Thanks to the bricklayers who watched on YouTube, and thanks to Mike over at La Casa Cigars, Tivoli Village. It's open. It's great. I mean, where would you rather be tonight? At some point in the evening, there'll be live music. You could have a cigar inside or outside. That's a nice option. I mean, sometimes I'm sitting around in these casinos. I'm like, where's your cigar bar? And they're like, we don't have one. What? Every guy who's coming into town on an airplane, the majority of them want to smoke a cigar, have a cocktail, and it's like, we don't have a cigar bar? No, you don't need one. You have Tivoli Village and La Casa Cigars and Lounge. It's right there. Go outside, have a stick, have 2. My wife's telling me with this voice, 1. Just don't have 2. Have 1. And take a shower when you come home. You smell like cigars. Okay, we'll do that. But you got to go to La Casa, a proud partner of our show. Mike will have this place humming for the Raiders coming up. Early start, 8 a.m. When we come back, my conversation with Pete Carroll. Here we go. I've talked to every coach throughout my career. This is the newest one. I hope it's the last one for a while. I hope he's here for years to come and the Raiders win and Pete Carroll takes us eventually to the Super Bowl. I believe that. I really do because of Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, Pete Carroll. The foundation is set. We'll get to that on the other side. Stick around. Nice Friday. Nice Friday to be here. Djokovic up 3-0 in the second. Nice. In baseball, man, the Dodgers stink. Dodgers might win the World Series, but man, do they stink. They've been terrible all year. They should have won that division by 30 games. And every time I turn on a game, they're losing. Hopefully the Dodgers don't win because I'm a Yankee fan. They just rub it in again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. Oh, I forgot. everybody here, can you please subscribe to my new podcast with Rod Woodson right now? Okay, I'll put it in here. Let me put it in here. Laying, how about this name? Laying the Wood. Rod Woodson. Okay? I got a new project. You need to subscribe to it. So Rod Woodson, let me put that in there. Rod Woodson. So please go find it wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, and subscribe to that. It'll take you 2 minutes. Please do that so we can get the numbers up and keep it going. Sunday morning, Raiders pregame show, man. Hope to see you there.